Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video we're going to be taking a look at silver as the market is seasonally bullish. So here I have a heat map chart here. You can get this at Markets Made Clear resources or .com/resources, and you can see this currency heat map there. And what I would like to just show you from this heat map is silver, because silver usually has its best performing month through the month of July. So usually July and August are pretty decent movers for the price of silver. You can see here just marked out that you've got 6.22 percentage of movement throughout that month potentially. So interesting. The only thing that obviously seasonality doesn't tell us is, you know, if it's actually going to happen or not. It's just on average price has moved higher through the month of July. You can look at other stuff. You can go into the commitment of traders reports and things like that in order to identify key areas. But I'm just going to show you some technical analysis now. And again, I'm going to be on the monthly chart. So you can see here monthly, pretty bearish at the moment, pretty bearish outlook. You can see the past 4 months we have been in declines. And that's basically because of that dollar strength that we've seen in the market, pushing these commodity prices lower. We've seen recently that gold has broken through that key low we talked about previously, and you know, we talked about fundamentally gold is not in a good position to be trading to the upside at the moment. It's more bearish. That's followed through. Subsequently, silver has as well. And I think the last time we spoke about silver, we were looking for longs in and around these lows down through here, because it was around about a similar time. So if I was to look at sort of the previous time we looked at this, it was around about here or here, I believe. And we were looking for potential longs back up in line with this kind of range that was going on in the market. But price has since broken through those range lows. We've broken to the downside, and I'm looking for that next bit of support for price to come into. And what I've done is just outlined a couple of different areas. So you can see here there was this kind of anchored trend line where price found resistance through here and here, and that kind of lines up with this zone of support that I'm looking into. Now the reason why I've highlighted this area is because we had really strong aggressive buying coming from down at these lows through here, but for a month we pretty much paused. Okay, so we reached the highs here, we paused for a month, and then price started to really aggressively move to the upside. So for whatever reason, price stalled at this area. Now it could be institutions are adding more orders, or fundamentally something was going on here that price just stalled for that amount of time through that period. Now, looking at that information then, if price stalled here, could there have been an opportunity for price to come back and retest this area? That's what I'm kind of looking at. And it kind of matches up with that confluence of that trend line running through here. Not a huge fan of trend lines. You know, they are very subjective, but you've got a sort of confluence point there. What I'd also like the idea of is the fact that price looks a little bit overextended here. We are starting to push quite aggressively to the downside, and that could be overextended towards this 1820 area. So I'm actually just going to put a line at that high, which is that 1840, that monthly high down through there. And what I'm going to look at is the daily and 4-hour time frames, because these are our trading time frames. I want to be looking for opportunities on these markets. Now, if price drops into this area here, okay, without pulling back, you can see kind of, again, price has made a really strong extension to the downside. We've slowly curved round, and then price has moved and made another move. Now, actually, when you see this kind of curve in price action in the market, you know, you can kind of see, you know, that is not a strong high. Whereas you can see here, very sharp movement to the downside, very sharp movement to the downside through there. Usually when there's kind of this like build up here, what they can call it sort of a poor high. Now what I mean by that is a poor high usually is a high that will get broken quite easily. So that is an area I'm looking to target if price was to come back and reject this area here. Now what I'm going to be looking for on a daily time frame is a double bottom pattern, because those are the sort of strongest market patterns in my opinion that you can look for. Now if price was to drop down into this zone through here, so I want to see 1840 tested first. If price then rallies we know that buyers are stepping in at around about that 1840 level. So what we want to see is actual, we don't just want to buy a level, we want to see buyers coming in back at a level. Then we want to see price pull back into those previous structure lows. And then if you start to see a rejection, you start to see bullish price action, it could be a sign that we are going to start seeing those buyers step back in. And that's what I'm going to be looking for here, around about that 1840. You can kind of see up here the market drops to the downside, pulls back. Where does it pull back into? That sort of previous high there. You could call that a double top up through there, and we get this big extension away. I'm looking for something similar but down at these lows. Can we get that double bottom pattern whilst being in the sort of month of July? And if we start seeing those buyers coming in, that could suggest that seasonally the market is going to start following that plan. Now, this could be a little bit difficult with what's going on fundamentally in the market at the moment, with the dollar getting quite strong. But just because the dollar's strong doesn't mean that we aren't going to see those pullback weeks, okay? So I'm not looking for an extension, a big extension back up into these swing highs. If anything, if price was to bounce from here, we could just see price come back and retest these sorts of lows around about the 2140s. So keep an eye on this. Silver potentially seasonally bullish for the month of July, looking for a retest of this monthly support zone to see if price will trade back towards 2140. Thanks for watching this video update. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. If you did, leave this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you in the next video.